to do first of all is just set the scene about why our broadcaster might want a MAM system. Traditionally, a MAM environment has always been a central repository for storing your media and your metadata. And if you think about our football broadcaster, not only are we going to be talking about video content and audio content, but we must remember this company's got a website as well, so they're going to have to be managing image content and text content as well. But then the MAM system is actually more than just a central repository. The MAM system can enable you to integrate with those silos that Granby talked about, the individual islands within the organisation, and start sharing resources. And the MAM system can also therefore enable process efficiency by basically automating workflows throughout the environment. So that's more of a technical look at what the MAM system does, but from a business perspective, what does the MAM system give to the enterprise? And I see really 4 areas where we can make real profits by enabling a MAM environment. So the most obvious one, of course, is cost savings. If we look at our 1-hour highlights programme that we're going to be broadcasting after the live match is finished, within that we may want to use content from previous matches or from historical matches. Now, if we don't have that stored somewhere that's easily accessible, we may have to go and purchase that from another provider. But if we do have it stored in our MAM system, it saves us money, and we can include that content in our highlights package very easily. The second area is, of course, time savings. With the advent of more and more delivery mechanisms, you want to get your content to market much quicker than your competition. And therefore, if that content is accessible in a good high-quality format that you can repurpose very quickly and you can find very quickly, and we'll talk about finding content a bit later on, you're going to save time, and therefore you're going to get your content to market faster than your competition. We also talked about new delivery outlets, new media outlets. So today we're talking about IPTV and mobile and web. There may be a new media outlet that we have to integrate within 5 weeks or whatever the time frame may be. If the content's there and you can find it and it's in a format that you can repurpose and you've got the tools to repurpose that, we can very quickly then take account of new revenue streams and start generating more money for the organisation. And one area that's not so related to money, but more about the messaging that you're giving to your customers, is around consistency. I'm delivering this content to multiple different platforms, but I want to make sure the message is consistent on each of those different platforms. So that the HD live programme shows the same key goals as you get on your mobile phone at the end of the day. So let's talk about the ingest process. In this example, of course, we are broadcasting the live football match in HD. So we may be managing the ingest of that via an Omnion server, and the MAM system can help to manage that process. What we've done here in this example is we're also bringing in the high-res, as I said, from the Omnion server. We may have pre-recorded interviews that are coming in from an XD cam, some kind of file format. And what we've decided in this scenario is to actually generate multiple proxy types, because we know we've got different platforms that we're going to deliver to. So we've chosen at this stage to create those proxies. And of course, we can generate new proxies with the use of grab technology later on if we need them. We're also doing a technical automated quality control just to check for drop frames and things like that. And then coming back to the message about metadata, there is metadata coming in from the live feeds, maybe coming in from the scheduling system, coming in from the camera information, and that's all being brought into the central repository and stored into the system. Now, as Granby said, if we're talking about the difference between looking at something in HD or something on your mobile, we need to have a human being checking the quality of what's going out to potentially a mobile delivery, because you don't want to see nothing at the end of the day. You're paying £1 for it. You want to see the goal. Once the quality control has been completed, the media will then be approved in some format. That might be an automated process or it might be a manual process. And at this point, using the MAM environment, that content is then available for anyone with the right permission to view. So the producer will be able to immediately view it as it's coming into the system. The editors will be able to take the content and bring it into an editing environment. But you also may have external customers. So, for example, I think Tom mentioned the marketing department may want to have access to that content. Or you may actually have external people who are interested in how the adverts are looking. And they can see that content through the web browser to a good quality enough for them to be able to see what they're looking at. So coming back to the theme about metadata, and metadata for us really is key. There are different ways that we, as part of the MAM environment, would enable adding additional metadata. And we have two different ways. So we have metadata about the static content. So for example, about where the match was played, what time it was played, that kind of information that's about the clip as a whole. But then we're also talking about what we call stratified metadata, but metadata along the timeline. And there's various ways of automating where that metadata comes from. So I mentioned the scheduling system or the traffic system. That will have metadata that can come into the MAM system. But there's also other automatic ways that you could bring that in. So from closed caption or from even OCRing the lower thirds of the screen. And in the future, once technology gets better, you could even do things like face recognition and bring that kind of information automatically into the system. And of course, we do have the ability to add manual metadata through our cataloging tools. One thing we mentioned, I think Granby mentioned before, was that, of course, there are third-party providers who are already cataloguing specifically sports events like Delta Tree, for example. And we can buy that in, bring it straight into the timeline, associate it to our clip. But what you, as the content owner, really wants to do is differentiate your content. So what you want to do is add in information about, the emotions. What was the look on John Terry's face that time when he scored the goal and his wife was cheering for him finally? What's the points of interest? What are the stories around that player, the background information? Those are the kinds of things that will differentiate you from your competition and will ensure that the customers want to buy your content and not your competition's content.